What's up guys, Lane with Circle G. Today we're going to do a quick video on how I evaluate prospects. Not just reining prospects, but also just prospects in general, whether I'm looking to buy a horse and maybe resell it down the road, I'm looking for a client, whatever that may be. There's just a few things I look for, and I'm going to kind of go over it with you and kind of show you real time what those things look like. So the biggest three, obviously, the first one's confirmation, right? So how the horse is put together, will it help or hinder the horse do its job? Sometimes there are horses that can be conformationally not super correct, but also be able to do the job at a high level. So sometimes it's not that big a deal. The next thing is breeding. So how is the horse bred? What have its mother and father done? What kind of incentive programs is the horse paid up into? What kind of money will it be able to run at? All super important. Again, doesn't really determine necessarily if the horse can do its job, but it just helps determine maybe if it'll have an easier time compared to another horse. The third thing is movement. So how well the horse moves, how fluid it is, how smooth does it look, how easy does it do things, is the horse good about picking his feet up and putting them down in the correct spot, things like that. The last thing is overall expression. Is the horse extremely looking around everywhere? Is it bright-eyed? What are its ears doing? Where does it naturally want to carry its head? And how does it just move about? Just as it's walking around the pasture and the round pen. All those things are super important. So we got a few horses pulled up here for the NRHA futurity sale happening first week of December. I'm just going to pick a few at random and we'll talk about what I like and don't like and some things that I would consider when looking at these horses. So the first thing before we get into that, I think it's important to establish what your budget's going to be, right? If you're looking for a big time prospect for a horse showing, no matter what your discipline is, you're going to have a chance to run at some big money. It's going to be pretty competitive. So you want to have a horse that's going to be able to do the job, B, that you can afford to have, whether that be purchase price plus just overall feed costs and things like that, or there's also trainer fees as well and show fees, getting that horse to the point where you can show it or a trainer can show it. Now, if you're just looking for a horse for yourself, probably don't need as big a budget. There may be some give and take with some of the things you're looking for, and then obviously people that are looking to maybe buy and sell, want to buy something and train it up and resell it. There's also some factors you have to consider, like color, age, mare, gilding, stallion, things like that. So let's get into it. So I'm just going to randomly click on a lot. Let's do lot 203, a Little Joe Cash colt, sorrel. Got a little description here. About its breeding. All right, let's click on the picture. So obviously, another thing to think about is these are professionally done photos. So these are going to be probably some of the best photos you're going to see of the horse at this time. So as I'm sitting here looking at it, I want to see if the horse is balanced, right? So from its nose to its shoulder, and then shoulder to hip, and then hip to tail. I want those to be pretty even, which this horse is for the most part. I like to see a short back. I want something real long and sweeping. Tail set is maybe a little bit high. I like to see tail set a little bit lower. Angles of the pastern look pretty good. Now you want to see those angles of the pastern. You don't want them to be straight up and down, but you also don't want them to be at a pretty serious angle. Down the road you'll have some tendon issues. I like to also look here, if I like to draw a line from the hock joint to the ground and see how far off this fetlock is from that point. Oh, pull it back up. So this horse maybe sits underneath himself just a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. This horse looks kind of tall, not a ton of muscling here in the gaskin and forearm area. But again, these horses are coming 2-year-olds, so they're still babies, still growing up. Maybe a little bit big-headed, but overall, pretty nice horse. Now let's see if they got a video of it moving. They don't. Okay, let's look at a different one. All right, I found one here, 207, Spooks and Starbuck. Spooks got a spark. So these are just my opinions, but let's talk about a little bit on this horse, what I like and what I don't like. So I don't like how it comes out on the shoulder, how its neck is. Kind of looks like a pencil a little bit. Not a huge fan of that. Kind of long in the face as well. A little more muscling in the legs. A little bit shorter horse probably than the other horse. A little bit longer back, but not too bad. Ties into his wither, okay. You see the tail set maybe a little bit lower than the other horse. But not bad. Maybe a little bit short in this hip croup area. If you look at the distance from the tail to the hip here, compared to the barrel, compared to the head and neck, maybe a little bit short back here. If you draw a line from this hock down, a little more straight, which is good. Maybe runs downhill just a little. All in all, not too bad. A pretty nice looking horse. There are just some things we can beat him up on. Can't really see his pasturing angles with the grass. Probably should have mowed that before they did that. Let's watch the video. There's a picture of it. Let's watch him move. So it should show all three gaits. Looks pretty nice at the trot. A lot of knee drive, which is pretty good. Horse is really moving out. Carries his head a little bit high, probably. Just more naturally than I like. But really fluid. I like how it's there's not a lot of chinks in his armor or chinks in his strides, I guess you could say. Everything looks pretty fluid without a lot of resistance. Here he is loping to the right. I like that he uses his hind end quite a bit and really reaches out. Again, his ears are back, he's paying attention, right? So he's obviously tuned in, but just a little bit higher head carriage. Now again, it's not the end of the world, but those horses sometimes will have a little bit harder time kind of dropping that head down, make it look a little bit prettier. Nice turn there. Let's see if I can run that back. Really uses his hip, turns into the fence, and comes right out of it, uses his hind end to drive him out. I like to see a lot of, now it wasn't as good there. I like to see one fluid motion. I like to see a lot of power in the hind end. Here we are looking around to the right. And there really turns and gets out of it. Let's see him trot to the right. Again, good expression. I like that he's lively. He's looking around, which is good. But just a little more elevated in his head carriage. That was a pretty short video. Let's see if we can find another one. That was 207. Let's see, 210. Gunna's Half Moon. So this is a Gonna Trash a Colt chestnut. Okay, as you look at the picture, I'll compare this one and the last one so you can see. So a few things. Let's start from the back and work our way forward. Tail set's about the same as the others. Not super wide back here compared to the neck and the barrel. Maybe a little bit longer in the back than I kind of like to see. And you notice the hip point here and the withers point here. I like that to be level, or maybe the shoulders be a little more elevated. I don't like to them to run down a hill like that. So a little bit longer in the back. Pasturing angles, not bad, pretty good. It looks like I don't know. It might just be the funny angle of the camera. So this one looks a little more straight up and down in the back than the other in the front. Pretty good muscling, good depth in through here, the flank area into the heart girth. Pretty nice neck. A little dirty here in the throat latch. You can see it. It just kind of looks like your head just got popped on the neck. I don't love it. A little bit long faced as well. So nice looking horse, good coloring, good body, especially for a coming 2-year-old. Just gonna nitpick a few things. Let's go ahead and watch this video. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so here we lope. Ooh, quick footed, nice turn. Now if you look compared, got a little stuck in that one. If you notice, if you watch this horse go, I want to see it lope. It's not really showing off the lope. Horse looks a little bit more straight in the front end. You notice the last horse had a lot of knee drive and a lot of flexion, really moving out. This horse not quite as much, probably not as smooth as the other horse, I would say. It doesn't cover as much ground. Pretty nice mover though, all around. A little bit, so it'll make the horse look a little bit faster, especially with the 4 white socks. Again, carries his head about the same position as the last horse, and these horses are young and not, haven't been trained, so this is just them being running out in the pasture where they naturally would be. I tell you, Gordon, I don't really know Gordon quarter horses, but I'd like to see a little more video, just me personally. Let's look at one more. I like to find one that's got a really nice video moving so you guys can see. Let's see. Let's check this one. This is 223. No name yet. Oh, maybe it does. Starbucks Deja Vu. This is Spook's got a Whiz filly. Okay, so you can see not the prettiest looking thing. You know, we can say just look at the things we talked about. You look how it runs downhill into the withers here, so much higher in the hip than the withers. Sometimes it'll grow into that, and that'll be no problem. Just not my favorite. A little bit dangly neck, the long nose. Tail sets a little higher than I like to see. Pretty straight from a hop down here. And look at this, maybe it's because he's sitting. Look at this pastern angle compared to this one. All right, so this one looks like it's really sitting down that front right. This one looks pretty upright compared to these three. So that could be just the camera angle, but that's something I definitely don't love. We can look at the paper here. That's basic information on the breeding. So at the top is just the lineage. So notes about what they're paid up into. A little bit about the sire. Spook's got a whiz. He's a big time stallion. And then first dam. So the mom, Starbucks Deja Vu. Talks about her, how much money she's earned, some of her achievements. And then these are her babies. Horses that, when you see the all black letters on all capital, excuse me, those are, I believe, if you've earned over $10,000, or if you're a world champion or a reserve world champion, you get any of those things, you get the bold letters, or excuse me, the uppercase. So this one's earned 60,000, this one's earned 22, this one's earned 15, 13,000, 11,000, Bad Habits earned 5,000. So you see it's under 10,000 mark, which is why it's lowercase. So Dam's had quite a few successful babies. Let's go ahead and watch this horse move. Just another picture. All right. So you can see it trotting. I really like the knee bend it has. Looks pretty fluid. Horses kind of carries his head a little bit lower than the other horses, as you can see. Real tall and lanky. You know, especially in the Reina horse deal. You know, real tall, lanky horses, you just hope that they can stay sound. Okay, we get a little bit of turn in there. Good job using the hip as it lopes to the left. It actually looks like it's a pretty nice mover. Again, it's kind of lanky and long-legged, but it looks like it's kind of floating, you know, through the air, which is pretty nice. Again, it just looks kind of dangly. Now, again, these are babies, so who knows how much more horses are going to grow, or they will, you know, how much they're definitely going to grow, but how much more will they grow? You know, will they be sound and enough to get the job done? But see, it's a good video. Here's a good 30 seconds there. Little sticky getting out of that turn. Loping to the right, I don't like it as much. Don't like it as much, but still kind of floats. A lot of knee bend. It just, man, the hip is quite a bit higher than the withers. The horse is going to have a, you know, horse is going to have a little bit of a funny stride until that evens out. Again, this is just my personal preference. I'm not saying this is right or wrong. These horses, some of these might end up winning a bunch of money. Just to me, if looking at the information I have, this is what I'm going off of. Got a little stuck in that turn right there. Yeah, not the most athletic. Part of that is, you know, he's just a baby trying to figure out how to use her feet. So, all right, so that's about all I got for you guys. I just wanted to go over some of the things I look for when I'm looking at horses, whether that be prospects that are getting ready to get started or older horses that I'm looking to maybe buy and sell, or looking for a client to compete on. Again, nothing really is a make or break in any of this stuff. It's just a combination of different options and different traits that I like to take into account. And nothing I'm saying is right or wrong. It's just my opinion. So if I was beating a horse up, I apologize. But I just want you guys to know kind of things I look for, kind of my process. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. I might start doing more of these as we get closer to the maturity sale, and just in general, just kind of tabletop topics, talking about different stuff. And you guys let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Thanks for watching.